All right, guys, welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to talk once again about the Steam Deck. I know there are still some people that have not picked up the device and are still debating here in 2023 on whether or not to wait for another version of the Steam Deck, like a Steam Deck 2 to drop, or if they should go ahead and just pick up this device. So I want to kind of talk about that today. So I've had this device now for several months, so I'm pretty familiar with it. I'm not an expert. I'll never pretend to be. The great thing is that there is a Steam Deck community where you guys can find tons of answers to a lot of your burning questions. And just by, kind of Googling within YouTube, you can discover so many different ways to customize your device or get games to work the way that you want them to work. And there's just so much information out there. So shout out to the Steam Deck community for always looking out and helping out. So now I've had this thing, like I said, for a couple of months. It has not been all peaches and cream and roses and whatnot. But for the most part, I have thoroughly enjoyed this device. So a couple of things that kind of stand out to me that are a bit annoying is, and I hate to do this, but this Madden 23 game, I feel like as soon as I did a video on it a few months ago, as soon as I went on my cruise, the game just kind of stopped working properly. So I was unable to get the game to work offline, and then it started becoming a hassle just to get it to work even with a strong internet connection. So I've had tons of issues with my Madden 23. I know that I was using like the Proton Experimental to get it to work initially. It was working pretty well, and then when I really wanted to put some game time in, it just would not work properly for me. So I do not believe it's a verified game. You guys can leave a comment in the comment section about Madden if you want to discuss that. I don't have all the answers for Madden. I know you guys asked several questions about the game. I've had a different experience from others. I know there are other people that said they got it to play flawlessly, but I've had a lot of issues with it ever since I did that video. So one of the biggest annoyances trying to play it now is not knowing if it's going to work. And when you try to launch the game, it can kind of get hung up and you not be able to exit out of the game. So then you have to basically switch from your gaming mode like this, and you have to go into like desktop mode and then back to gaming mode just to get out of Madden, or just restart your system altogether. So that is one of my biggest pet peeves, is a game that doesn't work properly. Like Madden's my best example right now. Outside of that, obviously the battery life has always been a concern for many. It's a concern for myself as well, especially when you're dealing with, oh, I don't want to burn the food. Give me a second. All right. Thank goodness for timers. Almost burned dinner. All right. So where were we? Still complaining about the battery life. That's right. So battery life, I mean, it's hit or miss. There are games that just tear it down pretty quickly, and other games you can play just, it feels like forever. Like a lot of emulation games, you won't really have any battery issues, or at least I haven't had many battery issues. And some games that don't require as much oomph, like one of my favorites there, Vampire Survivors, those don't burn through the battery as quickly as something like The Witcher or Battlefront. So those, and even my 2K game, those really eat up the battery pretty quickly. So obviously when they make a new device, or Steam Deck 2 or whatever they're going to call it, then hopefully they improve the battery life. But outside of that, my experience still remains great. Absolutely still love this thing. Absolutely still recommend it here in 2023. Get off the fence, pick one up. Great news is that I did read an article. Don't hold me to this, but from what I read, from what I understand, is that they will not be making a new Steam Deck for a while, or at least one that's considered like a huge upgrade from this one for at least a couple years. So hopefully they kind of follow that gaming console trend, something like the Xbox and the PlayStation 5, where you won't get a new version of this gaming system for at least a few years out. So that is great news for those thinking about picking one up. So you can go ahead and grab one. And it's great news for those that already own a device like myself. So the worst thing is that you purchase something like this for $400 or $500, and if they make a new one like the next year, you feel like you really lost out, especially if they're not offering any great trade-in deals and things like that. So that's the good news, is that supposedly they're not going to make a new one anytime soon. So that's great. Just keep trying to perfect this one and do different updates and whatnot. So my two favorite games, I will say right now, it has to be Vampire Survivors, because it's so easy to play, and those heavy PC gamers are probably going to chuckle at that, because there's so many other titles that you guys can enjoy. But I really enjoyed it because it's a pretty simple game. I like to just pick this thing up and do something simple with it. And then my second favorite is going to be my NBA 2K23. Highly recommend this game. I know it's probably on sale. I finally started playing a full season on it. And the thing with the NBA, I like to wait until after the trade deadline, so that way I got the team locked in and I don't have to worry about some huge trade and now my season is irrelevant. So definitely been enjoying that now that the trade deadline has passed. But this thing is just amazing. I just can't say enough about it, enough positive things. Like I said, the community is great. These games are awesome to play on the go. And I just can't state that enough. So once again, in 2023, the Steam Deck, highly recommended. Hit me up in the comments. Until the next one, peace.